Hi guys, welcome back to the Matt and Kendal podcast. And we've been talking about relationships and 3 steps that we feel are very valuable in every relationship, especially the relationship of marriage. And those 3 steps are 1, talk it out.
Walk it out, work it out.
Walk it out and work it out. And we want to focus on walk it out for this particular conversation because this is where you get to practice what you preach. It naturally follows talk it out because if you say it, you should absolutely do it. And one of the things that you accomplish whenever you do what you say is you develop trust.
That's right.
Kendal and I have done the best we can. And the reason I say the best we can is because nobody's perfect at it.
Yeah.
Everybody at times will say something they don't mean or they say something that they don't intend to do. And, as much as is possible, you should focus on not doing that because it deteriorates trust.
Yes.
And oftentimes the motivation for that is emotionally driven, not sincerely driven. And there are times whenever you get upset about something and you say something you don't mean, and the challenge then is that you either have to take it back, which shows a weakness if you stay prideful.
Or you have to follow through.
Or you have to follow through with something that you never really wanted to do in the first place. You just choose to take that action because you don't want to lose any kind of credibility. And so you really have to consider the talk it out phase before you engage in the walk it out phase, because your purpose is if you say it, you should do it.
Yes.
One of the things that comes to mind whenever it comes to say it and do it, it may not directly apply to marriage and relationships, but everybody's familiar with that gym membership that you buy.
Yes.
And then you don't go.
Use it. Or the first month of January, you go for the first 17 days and then you quit.
Yeah, there's all kinds of...
But you're still paying month
There's all kinds of statistics.
Yeah.
And really what it happens is somebody's talked it out. I'm going to go work out. I want to get in shape. So they begin to walk it out, but they don't follow through. And it's in that follow through that you begin to develop trust. Now, a book that I've read and would recommend to any individual to read is The Speed of Trust. And The Speed of Trust basically establishes that relationships are so much more efficient. Time is saved. Your life is much more enjoyed when you have trust in the other person. That's true of working relationships. That's true of personal relationships. That's true of marriage relationships. If you ask me to do something as your husband, you should have the full and complete trust that I'm going to do it, rather than checking up on, did I do it? Because if you have to check up on it, it only wastes time, which is why trust is something that creates speed. And so whenever you start to engage in the fact that, hey, if he said it, he's going to do it. If she said it, she's going to do it. It gives the other person in the relationship the opportunity to at least know what the expectations are. What do you think of, Kendal, when you think about the walk it out phase? What are some things?
As a mother of 4, for us to be on the same page, that if I tell the kids we're going to do something and I don't follow through with it, then they know that they can just keep on pushing buttons, or they know they can go to dad or go around mom to say, hey, mom said this and really dad said this, being on the same page as a married couple too, walking it out together.
Oh, as your children get older, it only becomes more imperative that you walk it out, because when they're young, and when I say young, I'm talking, 5, 6, 7 years old, they're just learning the dynamic of permission. 5-year-old kids don't ask you, can I have somebody spend the night? 5-year-old kids invite their entire kindergarten class to spend the night, and it's easy for you to say no. But as they get older, they start to begin to play chess with mom and dad, and if mom and dad do not walk it out together, you wind up creating chaos, because suddenly the agenda of a teenager is in control of your household.
Yes.
How many times have we talked about the fact that sometimes our schedules are being driven by the social lives of our children?
That's right.
And there's something that we've got to pull into balance, which means we have to walk it out. If we tell our child, no, there is no time in the schedule for you to go do that, we actually have to live by it. Otherwise, we've trained them that through an emotional response or through an attitude or some other manifestation of their behavior, they can get what they want anyway.
Anyway, yeah, that's hard for parents because we, parents compare themselves to other parents. Their kids are doing 2 activities per kid, and so you want to keep up and feel like your kids are not getting the best advantage if they're not doing all those activities, where we have had to look at our family time and schedule and say, this is what we can do together as a family, and we got to do it on purpose, and we got to plan and figure out the schedule all together. But
well, and it goes back to the things that you consider valuable and important. If you think that being together is important, then you're going to do things that will keep you together. And that's something you have to protect, just like any other thing you value. It doesn't happen by accident. No. But if you say, we're going to spend time together as a family, don't just say it, actually do it. And for us, that's dinner time. We yes. actually purposefully refuse to schedule things after a certain time in our evening. So
we don't get to do it every night. We look at the week and we say, even if there's 2 or 3 nights together, because realistically,
absolutely, we try to get at least 3 family dinners a week.
Yes,
but and sometimes it's Sunday lunch, and sometimes it's a certain night of the week. But when we know that time's on the calendar, it's locked down.
That's right.
And all of our digital devices are
put up
in another room. They're not going to be there for the sake of interruption. And as a father, my purpose in that meal is to find out what's going on in the lives of my children, to hear them talk back to me and have conversation with them. I want to get more than just the words fine and everything's good. Hannah, how was your day? Fine. Tell me what fine means. I'm going to keep probing until she begins a conversation, because that's how she develops as a human being. I think there's a lot of parents who do not really put a whole lot of value on the power of conversation and how much it helps their child learn to communicate.
That's right.
The other thing that I want to do is I want to connect my children with the concept that what we have on this table was provided by God. And that it's not only provided by God, but it's also created by hard work. Nothing got there by itself.
Yeah.
It all has a purpose there, whether it was, the labor that God gave us the strength to do, the hands that blessed and cooked the food, or, all of these things come together so that we can enjoy what others would consider just to be a meal. And then after that,
Madison goes and gets your Bible.
Our 5-year-old goes and gets the Bible.
She does it without even asking her now. She just goes and grabs your Bible, brings it to you.
Because she thinks it's a special thing. It's a role that she gets to play. Right. And, she gets to initiate the conversation. And while we're still at the dinner table, I'll ask the kids, tell me one of your favorite Bible verses, or if there's something that I feel that is important for me to share with them that's pertinent to something that was said in the conversation. And this isn't the way everybody's going to do it. I was
going to say, it doesn't happen every time, but
correct. But this is how we walk out what we talk out. If you hear me say in the pulpit, prioritize your family and get back to the dinner table, I walk it out. In essence, I practice what I
preach.
There you go. So, as you continue to focus on relationships and you begin to consider what it means to talk it out, walk it out, work it out, recognize that walking it out is really the bridge that builds the foundation for every relationship that you have. What you do is so much more important than what you say, that you'll find it's your actions that always speak louder than your words. Guys, we'll talk to you next time with Matt and Kendal.
Bye.